Welcome back to the national championship. Well, is it? Yeah, if you see the WNBA basketball team, so Indiana Fever will take on the Brazilian national team at 4 p.m. on the ESPN, like probably like very soon. But I know our TCU Horned Frogs have made a sixth NCAA championship in school history. It's our sixth time. But for LMU, this is their first. Now, I don't know what to say, but now the score is nothing so far. But, you know, it's a very long way to go. But we don't know what the score will be. And now let's go to the number 4 pairs now.
Won the first set 21-14. Remember, the school to win the match at 3 of the 5 courts wins the national championship. Each court counts the same, just worth 1 point.
And we see the response in the set by LMU. Can they maintain?
This is the best out of 5, but each match is the best 2 out of 3. All sets must be won by 2 points. Well, I'm sure we're going to be worked that out.
Play out of the outreach stretch of the defender. Aggressive serving is really the best way to create these point scoring opportunities. I'd love to see more players attack the middle with their serve.
Nice take by Vergara. Nobody on. And when you say attack the middle of the serve, why do you go there?
Because it's hard in terms of communication. It forces a different type of offense.
I did not know that.
Play by Vergara. Beautiful dig and open net down the middle away from the defender.
Rabic. That tagged the line, meaning it's good to go.
Maggie Rabic, number 14 in blue, staying aggressive for LMU. Big block in front of her, but she takes a big swing, catching the line.
She started playing with her sister, Maggie Rabic, who's about to serve. They would sign up for random tournaments and then move to the U.S. to fully focus on beach. Kind of hard to do that, she said, living in Austria.
Maggie Rabic grew up in Klagenfurt, Austria, one of the best places for the biggest tournament in the world, FIVB in Klagenfurt.
Well, Madison, for this LMU team as a whole, they do a lot of work to make sure they're ready for anything, right?
Absolutely, and that's one thing that stands out about Coach Mayer's practices is his creativity when it comes to drills. He loves throwing in mini games or challenges that forces players to adapt, like serve receiving with your non-dominant hand and serve receiving off of 1 foot, and sometimes the first contact has to be played off the net to the partner, all in the name of building good problem-solving skills in his players. One more thing, he even uses volleyballs with different air pressures during drills, so players learn to adjust no matter the air level in the ball. They're handed in a duel.
John Mayer's like the crazy scientist. He has a podcast called Coach Your Brains Out, and he's so creative in the way that he prepares his team for this moment.
Do you see that show up in matches, Holly, when you watch them play?
I've seen it this week, definitely. Problem solving. I love the way they aggressively serve the ball and set the tone in different duels. It's a very strong beach volleyball program and well coached.
And LMU having a historic season, a program record for wins, 38 dual wins on the season. In fact, they have won their last 10 duels. Lena Camille goes at Rabic. Blocked by Camille!
Lena Camille sat on the ball, made Maggie Rabic feel her presence, and then just clamps in on the angle. Beautiful handwork to cut off that angle swing. Rabic loves to swing in the angle. That time, Camille ready for it.
Camille was part of the 1 pair for TCU at this event last year, now playing at the 4. And there, Maggie Rabic figures it out.
One of the benefits of attacking from the middle of the court really stresses the block, because the block has to choose, hey, which angle am I going to block? and it puts pressure on the defense. That's a big swing, and the defense on the TCU side had their lines crossed.
This is a must-win set for LMU after dropping the first set. Vergara off of the tape, and this time it helps her.
Sometimes good things happen when you're aggressive. That one was a big swing being set from off the net. The blocker gets off and then just slowed by that tape, dropping away from Rabich. See 4 signals from Camille at the net as a blocker. Watch her block into the angle. Angle becomes a different call when they're in the middle of the court and they need to audible that.
They've been attacking Maggie Rabich with their serve, but you could see right there a couple of points in the row off of her arm.
Yeah, and it was because of the pressure of the block at the net.
Vergara perfectly placed in that angle, and TCU within 1.
Rethel with the angle block, and this is the perfect solution for an angle block. You see the blocker diving and just taking a cut shot over them. You have to make sure you clear that block.
I'm going to try to confirm who's supposed to be serving. Here are the scores as we look at the other courts. The first program to win at 3 of these positions wins a national championship. Playing to 21 once again here in the second set. Rabich up, ready to attack, boom!
TCU trying to block the angle ball, and the defenders running to the line. That time, tough serve, pinning Rabich on that line, but she keeps it high cross court to clear that block.
LMU needs 2 more points. TCU not going anywhere.
Well done by Anna Vergara, going over the line. Good pace on that ball, and the defense can't run it down.
And they call a double contact on LMU. 19 all.
I like the idea by Rabich to run a back set, move the blocker to the middle of the court, but double contact on that hand set.
TCU was down 19-17 in this second set.
Now, I'll come back to this.
Anna Vergara. And now they have match point.
Maybe
One of the things that TCU is doing really well, they're giving Rabich all sorts of different looks
This
defensively.
hold
That
on.
player just stayed in the angle.
Maybe.
And it became an easy point scoring opportunity.
3 straight points for TCU now gives them match point at the 4 pairs, and timeout is called while they take a
Well,
timeout. We will come back. We're going to go over the 2 pairs. Hooker and Preeti up by 2 here for LMU. But the roll shot from Maria Gonzalez makes it just a 1-point lead for LMU.
Maria Gonzalez sees the angle block,
Maybe.
clears it with that cut shot. Chloe Hooker talking to the ref, saying she does not like the handset from TCU.
The handset different on the beach than it is in indoor.
Yeah, and I think that's one of
It's
Will.
a longer hand contact. You've got the
Now the
elements
train I had to take us to
that allow you
Wilminster.
hold and direct the ball a little bit better, but you can't hold it too long.
Wait
It's
a
Oh,
little bit
second.
longer than indoors.
Yeah, and it's got to come out clean, no spin on it.
This is.
That was a
Hold
great
on.
run. Set up for Chloe Hooker.
A pretty
All right.
set from Preeti.
Yeah,
We
oh, I like
will.
that.
And she goes right back to her hands. I like it. Well done over the block by Hooker.
I was thinking about working there.
Gonzalez. Blocked by Vinny Preeti.
What the?
Gonzalez turns around to a partner and says, what is she doing against me? Because Preeti is keeping her guessing. Looks like she starts inside and makes a huge move to that line. We call that a 3 block. And Preeti just executed that at an elite level.
We want to bring in the 4 pairs now because it is match point for Vergara and Camille of TCU. Rabich. Wrong, it was not touched. TCU leads this duel 1-0. You need 3 points to win a championship.
All right, all we need is 3 points to win the championship.
And 0 on the season together.
Incredible. The Conference Pair of the Year, ABCA Top Flight Award winners. And they put the first point on the board in this championship. So now back to the 2s. Where it's 19-16. LMU needs 2 more points to even up the duel.
I think the issue for this TCU pair, they haven't been able to put enough pressure on Hooker and Preeti. They need to serve tough. Every time Preeti is able to use her hands and run a play set, they're going to be in trouble.
That was better.
Much better.
Sends LMU scrambling. They just have to poke. It started with the tough serve, just like you called for it.
Tough serve down the middle, communication, and then LMU was in trouble, and TCU was able to be ahead in that whole play and capitalize.
Once again, that serve causes the 2 LMU players to run into each other, but then Preeti knew where she wanted to place it. It is match point LMU.
I love the serve from TCU, but they weren't able to finish the play. That ball didn't have a ton of pace, and Gonzalez stopped running for TCU.
Lions can even up the duel at 1 point apiece. Sets up Gonzalez, dug by Hooker. Chloe Hooker!
The defense for LMU spot on. Chloe Hooker didn't even have to move, and then a transition kill to put a point on the board for LMU.
We are tied at 1 point apiece. Again, it's the first to 3 points wins. TCU claimed their first point in this duel at the 4 pair. After trailing 19-17, they come back to win set 2. And then LMU evens it up at the 2s.